Welcome to the Nessa on the Go segment, What I Learned When Traveling to Italy. We just returned from Italy 2 weeks ago in January. First off, traveling from California to Rome is not easy, 6,000 miles. We had some bumps along the way, and that made it challenging, but we finally arrived in Terminal 3 at the Leonardo da Vinci Airport in Rome, Italy. And if you're planning a trip to Italy and traveling from the airport to the Termini station to catch a train to Florence, Pisa, Pompeii, Milan, or any other city or town in Italy, again, particularly by high-speed rail, then watch this closely, and hopefully you'll avoid the stress that we experienced. As you can see, I'm at Terminal 3, the elevators or lifts on the second floor of the airport. Again, this is Terminal 3. So if you're starting there at the airport, I would walk through the automatic glass doors to catch the moving walkway under the skywalk. And just to let you all kind of know a side point, my husband and I, when we decided to travel to Rome, we watched dozens of YouTube videos before coming. We wanted to avoid as much confusion and dismay as we could. And even with all our planning and video watching and knowledge, we still found ourselves confused, lost, and frazzled more times than we wish to be. So hopefully this video will help all of you. At the end of the moving walkway, you're going to arrive at all these intersections. There's going to be several corridors with more moving walkways for you to choose from, and they all look the same. But read the signs above to see where each corridor leads. One was for hotel, ground transportation, other terminals, etc. But you want the one that says trains, of course, if that's where you're going. And that's where we were heading, so I headed down the walkway. We had pre-bought our train tickets online, and we were unfortunately at the airport hours before the scheduled departure of our train. So right now I'm heading towards the train station ticket office to see if we could change our tickets to an earlier time. As you can see, it's pretty empty here. There's just one person in front of me. It's about 6 a.m., and unbeknownst to me, the ticket office was not open yet. But eventually, when I got there, I couldn't find a live person to talk to until I reached the entrance of the train depot, which is just a little bit away from here where I'm at right now, right down this little sliding walkway, this little inclined area, and I finally found someone to talk to and did change my tickets. So here we are. We arrived at Roma Termini station, and when we got here, there was this digital board sign thingy, and we were looking for our train to depart from to go to Florence. So this is the main train station, Roma Termini, and once we got here, we needed to find out which platform to go to so that we could take our train to Florence. But as you can see, there is a lot of words and numbers, and they only flash up your platform number until 15 minutes or less before your train arrives. So we had to rush. We had 7 minutes when it finally flashed up on that board. And we ran and we made it to our train, as you can see here. We did take first class, and we really loved taking first class on and I hope I say this correctly, I think the line is called Trenitalia, and it was business class. I said first class, it was really business class, and it was very comfortable. They had cushiony seats. There were four seats together facing a table. It was a little partitioned off, so you had a little bit of privacy. They had snack cart coming through. We got to look out this big window that you see here and see the Italian countryside, little towns and villages along the way, and it was really, really awesome. We loved it. Now, when you go through tunnels, every time you go through a tunnel, there's air pressure and your ears pop. That was very uncomfortable, and I didn't know about that, but it really bothered me. Did not bother my husband, but my son and I had a hard time with that ear popping thing. So just know, bring some gum or something to chew so that when you go through the tunnels on your way to Florence or wherever you're going on the high-speed train, the train goes, I think this train was going like 250 miles per hour. and it is uncomfortable with the train, with the ear popping. So be prepared for that. But eventually, despite all the glitches and all the difficulties, we finally made it to Florence, Italy. And we were so happy. Here we are heading towards our hotel. And one of the first things that we wanted to do was get pizza. We wanted to get Italian pizza. So we asked the concierge at our hotel, and they recommended we go to a place called Mr. Pizza. Here it is here now. It's a tiny little place, and it's right by the Duomo, or the and I hope I say this correctly, Brunicelli Dome. And we ordered marinara pizza. My son has very extreme food allergies to peanuts, tree nuts, and shellfish. And so everywhere we went, we had this little card that in Italian that described his deadly allergies. Mostly everyone is accommodating. This Mr. Pizza was very accommodating. They actually gave a list with numbers aside of it to let you know which numbers categorized what ingredients were in the food that could be dangerous. So my son was able to see peanuts, tree nuts, and shellfish, and that was excellent. So if you're ever traveling, you have allergies, know that there is a system for monitoring them in Italy, particularly Florence and Rome. So now here I am at the Brunicelli Dome, which I know I'm saying incorrectly. And there's steps. There are a lot of steps. It's 500 steps. The stone staircase is very narrow. It's a one-way trip to the top. This is me halfway there. I did not know there were 500 steps. If I had known, I don't know if I would have done it. There's not a lot of places to rest because there's people in the front and back of you, and they're just moving up, and if you stop, the whole line stops. And I kept stopping when I could and looking halfway through like, I'm almost there. It was very brutal, but I did it, and I'm so glad I did, because when I got to the top, there were these sweeping views of Florence. It looks like you tumbled out of a painting. It's so beautiful. Everyone was serene and quiet at the top. I think it was because they were exhausted and they couldn't talk anymore. Anyway, on the rest of our trip, we finally got down the dome, another 500 steps. My knees were wobbly, and we made it down, and I lived, and I was so glad. And we were down there just walking around the little cobblestone streets, window shopping, looking at the Italian leather shoes, and just the people walking by, and it's just, the vibe is so warm and friendly, and you could feel the history in the air. It is definitely worth going to Florence if you're going to be in Italy for so many reasons. We went to the Accademia, we saw the David and Michelangelo, and all of the wonderful, beautiful paintings. So I hope you all can make it there. But anyway, Nessa on the go here. Please like and subscribe. Until next time.